understand that you need to keep your dog's teeth cleaned and maintained because it can create big health problems. And understand that if you have a fluffy dog, to get a slicker brush, that they need to be brushed from nose to tail at and all in between, everything between the legs, everywhere. So then I would honestly just say find a groomer you love and just go once a month. You don't have to do a full haircut every time. I would say get on a good schedule because a dog that understands grooming will just have a better time, especially if you start them young.
Welcome to MythBarkers, where we make dog parenting easier by sniffing out the facts and debunking dog tales. Over the last 10 episodes, we've heard from various pet experts, from veterinarians, trainers, behaviorists, activists, advocates, rescuers, etc. We've learned a lot about how to take good care of our dogs and ensure they live a happy life, but we're just getting started. We've talked about a few critical areas of dog health and wellness, and today we're going to dive into the world of dog hygiene with a special focus on grooming.
As one of the most influential groomers in the world, our guest today has built an impressive grooming empire. You may know her from her signature dog blowout videos on social media or her reality competition series on Max, Hot Dog. She's a comedian. She teaches aspiring grooming professionals through her online tutorials, and she also runs her own flagship grooming shop in Los Angeles, Jess Rona Grooming. Jess, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Hello.
We're so excited, and I think I met you first at one of these dog events in the city, and I was immediately captivated by your personality, and there's a brightness about you, and I think that is a huge factor on why you are so successful in your field.
Thank you.
So in that topic, with more than 20 years of experience, what first made you want to get into this field?
So funny because I just kind of fell into it, but what originally made me want to get into it was that it was the least 9 to 5 seeming job I could find. It was more adventurous than that. I didn't know anything about dogs, so it was really fun and crazy in the beginning.
Wow. So there's a lot of jobs that are like freelance related. Is there something, moment or spark where you're like, that could be cool?
Yeah, so when I first learned about what dog grooming even was, my mom used to get this specific kind of cat food at PetSmart. PetSmart's a big chain, and there was one deep in the San Fernando Valley where I used to live. But it was like a 20-minute drive from my house. So my mom was like, let's go get this cat food at PetSmart. So when we went there, we saw there was a help wanted sign and they were looking for people to apply. And so, very like pushy mom from Brooklyn, she was like, let's get you a job. And so we looked at the application. And that's where I found out like what I wanted to do, because it was like you can work with the aquatic section, you can work as a cashier. There was all these lists of jobs that they had at PetSmart within the different departments, and they had dog bather. And so I was like, dog bather, that's cool. That's interesting. I didn't even really know that was a job. And so I applied and they hired me for some reason. I was a teenager. I was like looking for money to buy a car. And so I started working there. I didn't know anything.
How far along then from that journey from PetSmart, then did you realize like you really had something unique here, that this was going to be your life and you were going to build this massive empire that you've
Oh God, that never occurred to me. I was like that maybe a few years ago. No, I mean, I was always an actress, a comedian, never thought I would be a dog groomer. I never thought that would be my life, but it just that's how it turned out. It was like it was always my side hustle. It was never going to be the thing. I wasn't like, I'm going to be a mogul. Although I feel that way now because I'm launching a product line, which is so exciting. So now I'm like, oh, I'm in mogul mode right now.
That's amazing.
Can you talk about it yet, or is it still under wraps?
I haven't. I wanted to wait until I would at least get the website up so that we can get a wait list going for people.
Gotcha.
But like, I've never told anybody the name of it yet. It's such a cute name and I just really want to tell people.
Yeah, but we also don't want people to be too inspired by it. So we're mindful.
I know.
Yeah.
What I'm doing doesn't exist. Like beautiful grooming tools don't exist.
Oh, tools. Okay.
Yeah, it'll
I
be
love
tools. No, it'll be tools. It'll be shampoo and condition. I'm doing a spray. I'm doing a serum. I'm doing like so many cute things.
We're so happy for you, and we'll keep our eyes peeled for
Yeah.
the launch.
Oh my gosh. Well, this is good that we're doing this now then. Before, we're only going to talk about your projects. Like, let's pick your brain while we can and have access to
Yes, of
you.
course.
And so, with each episode of MythBarkers, we mentioned before, we like to tackle an overarching myth with a pet professional with the goal of helping to make pet parenting easier for the moms and dads out there. So, we're talking about grooming. I'm sure you've heard this before, this myth that not all dogs need to be groomed. What are your thoughts on that? Is that true? Do only certain dogs need to be groomed? If not, like why? And what are your
It's a
thoughts?
myth. It's
Yeah.
a myth. Yeah, because, okay, let's take the typical dog that you think does not need grooming is a Chihuahua with short hair, a
Mm.
short-haired dog, right? So here's what I would do if a short-haired dog came into my shop. We would clean their ears and check their ears. They get ear infections, so groomers will check them, brush their teeth, do a blueberry facial, an argan oil face mask, shampoo and conditioner, and a de-shed, nail filing, and check their anal glands. So yes, you could do all that at home, but they still need it done. I don't I don't force squeeze anal glands at my shop because dogs should do it naturally. We can totally talk about anal glands if you want to, but we just check them, and a groomer's going to get up in there. We're going to be really detailed. We're going to be able to see the skin and coat and see if there's anything that should be addressed by a vet. Now, the short hair dogs don't have to be groomed as much as, like, a poodly doodly something with like huge floppy bangs to make it not see. But I just pictured like a cartoon dog. But like, they still could use it like every couple months for sure.
Gotcha. Oh,
Yeah,
Luke
so
came to
every
say
dog
hi.
needs grooming.
Oh,
I can't
darling.
see, but I feel the energy
Can
of the
can I
dog.
show him?
Please.
Yes, we never
Lukey!
get a Luke interrupt.
Oh my gosh, I see the top of the
Lukey!
head. Oh, it's
Oh, hi,
so nice.
darling. He's a Jindo mixed rescue.
Wow.
And he's double coated, so he sheds a mountain every
Mhm.
season. I'm sure we'll have questions about that.
I have answers.
Okay,
Yes.
perfect. So it seems as though, a lot of these bathing situations can be maybe a little bit uncomfortable for certain dogs. And it seems like at your grooming service, they seem very chill. They seem like they're really enjoying themselves. Do you have a strategy to get them into that headspace and calm them down before this happens?
Yes, I
Share your
do.
secrets,
I
please.
actually teach a whole online course about it called the JR Energy. Like
Great.
Jess Rona, like JRG, but JR Energy. So the key to a calm dog is a trusting dog. A trusting dog is calm. So I have a lot of tips and tricks on how to build the trust of a dog, especially if they're a regular and they know the process. But I can build the trust of a new dog. I can get it to trust me by looking for their behavioral clues to respond to. So if they give me a behavior, I can respond to it. So I'm speaking to them. I even have a free guide. If any like pet parent is listening and they just want some free info, I have a free guide called How to Speak Dog. It's on my website.
I love it.
Very easy, and
Yes.
it teaches you how you can respond to behavioral clues.
Oh.
I also do things to prevent losing trust. But the key is respond to behavioral clues with my touch. And sometimes it's a firm touch, sometimes it's gentle. It depends on the dog. And then I also have no judgment or opinion on their behavior. I'm neutral. I don't care. I have no reaction. So it's a bit of like a dance, but over time I just kind of like learn these techniques, and I was able to start training my staff. My staff has been my guinea pigs for the past 10 years of like how I can kind of replicate what I do. Because as a service-based person that, like how do you replicate your art? And so
Right.
it's like it was like a big challenge. Like, how can I explain what I'm doing? So I really thought about it for like a year, like really thought about it. And I was able to put it into words and put those words into an online course. But really, it's mostly just building trust. Like, just for an example of like how to build trust, I do something really simple. Like sometimes if you rinse a face and a dog is like, having a big reaction, that's a behavioral clue. I'll put the nozzle down, I'll wipe the face, and I'll take a moment and say, I got you. Like that's my response to them. If they have a moment of freak out, if I grab their foot for a nail trim and I feel their tension, I'll drop the tool, show them my open palm, and just desensitize their palm for a second. I'm like, it's okay. We're just going to touch your paw right now. Then I'll pick up the tool and look for another behavior if it happens. And I'll just start working with them. And then I don't have to do that more than once. Like dogs can like really understand, like as long as they feel understood, and this goes with people too. If a person feels understood, they're calmer. If they feel misunderstood, they get into a frenzy. So
That's so
that's a
true.
big thing. Yeah.
Do you feel that certain dogs take longer to have that trust regained? Or is it kind of across the board? If you show them, hey, here are my intentions, I'm going to do things, and if you don't like it, we're going to pause. What is the difference from dog to dog in that sort of reaction?
Overall, I can read dog behavior pretty well. There have been instances where I literally cannot groom a dog and I
Mm,
just cannot do it. It's like usually dogs will have a moment of protest and then a moment of calm. And they have a big protest, a big reaction. They fight it, and then they kind of give up and surrender. And then they do it again. And it's like I call them waves of protest.
mm,
And sometimes there's certain dogs that just will only protest and they
mm.
will not settle. And that's happened to me a handful of times in my, whole career. There's a dog at JRG that's a poodle that gets her face shaved, and I can't do it, but my employees can. And I'm like, I've taught you well because I can't even do this dog, and you can.
Wow. They're
Yeah,
following
I'm
the guide.
so impressed by my employees. Like they teach me things. The other day, one of my employees gave me a face lesson. I was like, oh, this is cute. I love your technique. I'm learning from you.
Oh, that's
Yeah, they're
That's
great.
fantastic.
awesome.
Yeah, they're amazing.
So there's like pockets of expertise within each employee.
Yeah, totally.
I love that.
I don't know if this is controversial or not, but do you have any thoughts on calming medications or sedation as it relates to grooming? Because I know some people are more prone to give their dog something if it's going to help. Some people would be against it. What do you think?
So, as a groomer, it's really not my place to say that. I think it would be up to a pet parent and the vet. I would say some dogs that are just not a good fit for my salon, like I'm cage free and we have dogs running around, or some dogs that are like rescues. We have a few cases where the dogs just cannot settle or they're too distracted or it's too much.
Mm,
We'll tell the pet parent, like it's really a challenge to groom your dog, and we'll communicate with them and we'll say we can send you like a house call groomer recommendation, which I have a couple recommendations of
wow.
people that will go into your home and groom the dog in your home, or a mobile groomer. Like I have a little network of people that I refer. But if the client's like, can I try putting them on meds like CBD or whatever anti-anxiety meds my vet says, I'll say we're completely okay to groom a dog that is on medication as long as we get clearance from a vet that it's okay. And like I
Mm,
don't want like a zombie dog. Like
Of
that's
course.
not great. We need a dog to be at least alert and functional and okay. But at the same time, I'm for it because if a dog is more comfortable getting groomed, the dog is going to have a better experience. If the dog is panicked and stressed, like, I'm totally for it.
okay, that's great to hear.
But I think it's case by case. I think if you don't feel comfortable, don't do it.
That makes
Yeah.
Just
sense.
get someone, like find alternatives. That's why I also teach these courses. So if pet parents want to try to groom their own dogs, they could just learn online and try to do it themselves.
I'm definitely gonna watch that for sure because I struggle a little bit with Luke. He doesn't like the sound of the shower head, so he's much better when I bathe him. But then in the winter months, I'm like, how am I gonna get around this? This is gonna be tricky because we don't have a bathtub, so we have to go in the backyard. It's a whole thing. But I'm so
You
excited to
bathe
learn
him
about
at
that.
home?
I
I do too.
do.
No, a big full coated dog?
Yeah.
Whoa, baby, like a double coated with like, do you have a force dryer?
What is that?
It's a blow dryer that has like a hose with a nozzle that force blows out air so that all the dead coat flies off.
I don't have that. I just have Furminators and
No,
okay.
no, that's controversial.
Wait, I
I
didn't know
am
that was
anti that.
controversial.
Tell us.
Okay,
No.
can we attack this first? Because that's what I'm using right now, and I'd love to see what I'm doing wrong.
Wait, okay, wait. I only saw the top of his head. How thick of a coat does he have? Is he more like a lab or more like a husky? Or somewhere in between,
He's
like a
more
German
he's
Shepherd?
he's in between.
Oh, girl. Okay. So I'm not a fan of the Furminator, really,
Okay.
unless you're using it just like on the saddle of a golden to let the coat lay flat. What it does is it aggressively rips out the undercoat. It rips it out. It's like you're just gonna, and you'll never stop. It'll only, and it's just too aggressive. And people use that because it's like it definitely shows that it's like pulling out undercoat. But
Yeah.
your dog, no. So like what I recommend is something a little more gentle. It's a rake. It looks like hooks, like a claw.
Mm.
So it's a combination of a rake, which will gently take out the undercoat, not rip every piece of the undercoat out. Um,
Wow.
yeah, and then on I think on a lab type of coat, I think a Furminator could be good. So like if you're listening and you have a short-haired dog and you use a Furminator, like it's okay. It's just for a thicker, fuller coat. I would use a rake and a slicker brush and
I'm just gonna
really
wait for
hydrate the
your
coat.
products to come out.
I know,
Okay?
right? Because I
That's all I'm
have
gonna do.
something coming for you. Oh
Okay.
my God, you're
Thank
like
you.
my perfect. I'm not doing a rake yet, but like phase three, phase four will be a
Yes.
rake.
Wait,
No,
this
but
is
like
this
no,
is a
but
revelation.
those coats need a ton of hydration. Are you conditioning?
I am conditioning, but I don't
Okay.
know if I'm doing enough. Like I have like skin coat balms that I put on him.
Okay.
So
That's nice.
they tend to work nicely. They
It's
smell really
something.
nice. It is something.
I
Um,
recommend getting a conditioner meant for dogs. And you can also order a squeeze bottle or use a like a pitcher or something. And what you could do is you can put like half a cup or something of conditioner for the whole dog, and then
mhm.
fill up like equal parts or a little bit more of warm water, zhuzh it around, and then you can apply that all over your dog. We do it in a squeeze bottle at the shop. But you can buy a squeeze bottle. In fact, like part of my line, I wanted to make a squeeze bottle for pet parents. Because if your dog doesn't like his face washed, you
Yeah.
can fill a squeeze bottle with warm water and use that to wash the face instead of like blasting with air with water.
Yeah, he absolutely hates getting any water and even when I pour it on his face, he's like "Ugh," like he really
Yeah.
doesn't like it. So I think that would be super useful. So hopefully we're going to expand this line here to include
hmm
all of these other products too, because I will be buying them 100%.
You
Like,
know what else you could do? I also teach this in my course, but you can take out one of those oversized sponges, those
mm,
big mama sponges, and dip it into warm water and just gently squeeze over the
that's
face.
a great
That's a lot.
idea.
It's really cozy for the dogs, especially like a pug or a smushy faced dog or
Yeah.
puppies. Sometimes I'll just squeeze the sponge over a puppy's face and it's just like dribbling a little bit. So it's not
Oh.
too scary. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
sounds so lovely. Thank you for those tips. I will not be using those again.
No Furminator on a
I
on a
feel so
fluffy double
bad
coat.
now because I'm like,
Oh my
look, are
God,
you meant
no.
to be fluffier? And I've been
No.
raking you dry.
No, it's
Okay,
okay.
no more from today. But I'd like to quickly go to the next question, and it is, how often should dogs be bathed? And does it depend on the breed, coat type, or lifestyle?
It does depend on the lifestyle, I think. I think that's a factor. And also, like the owner of the dog, if you want a clean dog, there's really no limit. We used to have this basset hound named Tremendous that would come twice a week, 2 times a
Wow.
week. He was extremely low to the ground. He had skin issues. His ears would drag. He was just like a big roly-poly flop of a dog that was like an inch from the ground, and he was disgusting all the time. And like we were able to clear up his skin issues because we were always hydrating his coat, and
Mm.
he was pristine and he had such beautiful skin. He moved to Hawaii. We miss him. But
Oh.
we were bathing this dog twice a week. But you can also go twice a year if you know, don't care. If you just want to have a dog that's whatever. Like some people, if you have a short-haired dog that's really like low maintenance and you just want to do like a nail trim or something or
Mm.
like a wipe down, I think obviously I would say the average a person should get their dog groomed is about once a month. Like I have
Mm.
a short-haired dog and I wash her about once a month
Okay.
because their skin gets flaky and dry. They need their nails done. They need their teeth brushed. I would say once a month is good and average.
Can you over
About.
dry a dog's skin by overbathing? Is that something that's possible? And is that related to products and what people are doing wrong? Or, we
Yeah,
want to help all
totally.
the
You
all the
nailed
dog
it.
parents. Yeah? Okay.
Oh yeah. So there's even some groomers that use Dawn dish soap
Oh,
to degrease. Yeah. It's a big no-no. You can strip the coat, and in fact, a dry coat is usually what causes a lot of skin problems. or accidentally leaving shampooed residue on the coat. One of the biggest like mantras, I don't know if mantra is the right word, values of my product line is hydration because it just helps with any kind of skin issues for the most part. I mean, not everything, but it really helps prevent things if you're hydrating the coat. So yes, you can totally dry out the coat if you're not conditioning. Also, everything's oatmeal based. Like you go to the store and you see oatmeal shampoo. If you think about it, oatmeal draws out.
Right.
It absorbs. So you're drawing out and absorbing moisture. And so it can be drying and it's misleading. It is soothing, but it can also be drying. So you want to pack on hydration. You want to find things that are oil based. My products are going to have a lot of hydration and oil in them. I wish I could tell you about them, but just stay tuned, baby.
We're gonna have to
There's
ask
just
you
going to be like
follow-up
glossy,
questions.
glamorous dogs everywhere after my
I
product line.
know. All dogs are gonna get a massive glow up after this release.
Yes,
You just
yes.
wait. So in between baths and showers, if we want to sort of clean them up, what do you recommend if they cannot go for a full shower, but you want to keep them smelling nice? Do you like wipes?
Yeah, for sure. I think it just depends on the coat type.
Mm.
Sometimes a wipe will only get the surface of a really thickly coated dog. So in that case, if you have a really thick dog and like there's a lot of fluff, what you can do is just do a brush out with a mist of a leave-in conditioner. And if you don't know what kind of leave-in conditioner to get, one of these hacks that I really love is to take conditioner, dog conditioner, and you can put it in a spray bottle with some filtered water and shake it up and you have a leave-in. So you can just do a mist. Don't over saturate the coat or anything because then it's going to be like thick and weighed down. But you could do a gentle mist, especially if you just want to do like a brush out or a fluff out.
Mm.
Bonus points if you add some warm air from an air dryer and you do a fluff out with that, and that will like rehydrate and open the coat and get out some tangles. It'll be really nice. And a lot of people forget to do the legs, especially the inside of the legs. So make sure
Yeah.
get the legs, get the tail, take the collar off, get the neck. Because so many people are like, I brush my dog every day and they only brush the back and like the legs are matted and the head is matted and like so like that's like a groomer dilemma where we're like okay but and they're also using like a boar bristle brush which isn't doing anything, so use a slicker brush for a fluffy dog, you know.
What about short-haired
Yeah,
dogs?
short-haired dogs, I would say there's this thing called like a zoom groom, like just those like little de-shedders that you can get. Those I would just do a wipe, like a quick wipe down.
These are great tips. So for shampoo, conditioner, and cleaning products for dogs, are there certain ingredients that you're like, if I see that, I'm throwing this bottle straight in the trash?
That's a great question. I'm not that versed in bad ingredients yet. Like I'm learning it actively right now because I want to know more about that.
Are there certain ingredients that you found are really good to look for in these labels?
Yes. Aloe is really healing for dogs, chamomile, B vitamins. If there's like some kind of collagen, like there's
Mm,
seaweed collagen, which I'm learning about what to put in ingredients.
Yeah.
That I'm learning. Coconut stuff is really good, like anything derived from a coconut, coconut oil. Mostly like oil-based things, hydration, coconut oil-based things. But yeah, those are good things.
and everything that you listed smells nice. So I was just like,
Smells nice. Yes.
coconut. Yes, yes.
You
Yes.
mentioned conditioning. Does every dog need a shampoo and a conditioner? Because I'm thinking there's probably some pet parents who are going, oh, wait, I only use one kind of a soap.
I would say, I don't know, like if your dog isn't getting conditioned ever and your dog is fine and doesn't have skin issues and no flakies and isn't dry, you're fine. I think, especially it depends on where you live. Like people who live in Florida or like, you know, on in like more humid areas probably don't need that much conditioner. I'm in LA, so it's always dry here.
Right.
Or if your dog gets tangled a lot, I would say yes, definitely condition. It definitely helps with detangling because it
Mm.
seals the follicle. If you just wash the coat, it opens up the follicle and then you dry it, then those follicles are kind of like they look like little Christmas trees under a microscope and they cling to each other. And so it's like Velcro and it creates mats. So what happens is if you wash and then condition, each follicle is sealed, so it's like less likely to get tangled. Yeah.
Sounds like human hair a little bit.
I
Yeah, it's
have
like human
I
hair.
have low porosity hair, so I have to do that all for my hair. So I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Like translate it to loop.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, and I think about it like my face. Like, I don't want to wash my face and not put moisturizer on,
Yeah.
or wash my
Mhm.
hair and not condition it.
Yeah.
So I'm just such a person who believes in hydration. Let me take a sip of my water.
Yes.
Hydrate, baby.
Living what you preach.
I think
Yes.
a lot of people are thinking like they're thinking of their dog's fur or their dog's hair. They're not thinking about the layer of skin underneath that we also need to
Mm,
take care of. So I think what you're saying is really eye-opening.
Oh,
yeah.
cool. Yeah.
And with the hairs in between their toe beans,
Mm-hmm.
do they
It's
need to be
important.
removed? Does it matter? What are your thoughts on it?
So I think it depends. I think if you have a poodle with shaved poodle feet, a lot of groomers will shave everything out. But I was taught this many, many, many years ago of like when your dog is out and about walking, they need a little bit of cushion between their toe beans. And so when I groom a dog, I don't scoop everything out unless it's matted. Sometimes it gets matted, dogs chew in there, whatever. Then you have to scoop everything out. But I don't think that a dog should have every bit of hair under their pads shaved out. Just because what if they walk through grass or something where you just want a little something to protect their feet?
That makes perfect sense.
So what I do is like anything that lays past the pad, I will trim so that they don't have carpet feet that slide around. But if you take them out and they're walking through rocks or they're, whatever it is, they'll have something to protect them, a little cushion.
I find the carpet feet adorable. So I'm a bit
Yes,
like,
they're
no,
so
they
cute.
gotta go.
You can just tidy. You can just do a little tidy.
Give the toe beans a little haircut.
Just a little haircut.
So when we started talking, you talked about all of the different elements of a grooming service. I think that's something that a lot of people don't necessarily think of. That it's not just a bath and a blowout and a nail trim. There's so many other pieces, and it seems like it's also really important to the dog's health because you're really getting in there maybe closer than what us dog parents at home are finding. Like, have you had a lot of experience where you find things that are like, somewhat concerning and it has actually helped a dog?
Yes. Oh, yes. There have been so many times like that, where one time we were washing a dog's face and we felt like a firmness on the cheek. And it turned out the dog had a huge abscess in their mouth and had to get a tooth removed. It was like a whole thing. We
Oh.
found ticks, we found lumps, skin issues, like hot spots. I found fleas. Like there's just so much we could find from dogs
Mm.
because another thing is that if you have a fluffier dog, us groomers, we have a blow dryer. So while we're blow drying a dog, the coat is being open so that we could see the skin. That's part of our service is we check their skin to see if there's anything. So there's been times where, yeah, we've seen so many things and we let the client know and they can go to the vet. Usually it's nothing, but what if it's something? So definitely
Yeah.
groomers really get in there. We really look at everything.
That's really fantastic. And I'm sure a lot of those clients were like, wow, we would have left it for months or years if we didn't go to the
Especially
groomer.
dental. Yes, there's been so many just like rotting teeth I've seen in dogs. And because people don't know to look, you can hook your finger in your dog's lip and pull the lip back and
Yeah.
up, and you can look at their back teeth. And also there's anesthesia-free dental scalings you can do where you don't have to put your dog under anesthesia. I don't recommend that only for healthy dogs. I think dogs should go under for full deep cleanings because
Yeah.
you could do x-rays and get under the gums. But if you're, nervous about your dog going under, have a dental hygienist check their teeth to make sure everything's okay. But at the groomers, we'll check teeth. It's funny because people get really upset about coloring dogs' fur, like different hair colors, but they don't realize like that's nothing compared to what a groomer sees. We see tangled, like matted coats that are like so matted that it pulls on the skin and you like shave it down and the skin breathes. And it's like that is nothing compared to what groomers see. So groomers really help maintain the health of dogs and we catch things early for sure.
We spoke to a vet and she said skin infections and irritations out from allergies and so on are some of the most frequent vet visits. So in some ways, discovering at a groomer's earlier on will catch it and then they can take care of it immediately rather than waiting for it to get worse.
Yeah, totally. And like if your groomer isn't using conditioner or you're not loving their products, you can bring your own shampoo and conditioner to the groomer and ask them to use it for you.
Oh, that's really good.
So, and you can also say, can you check the skin? Can
Mm,
you take the blow dryer and look at the skin and just make sure everything's okay? Can you check the teeth and let me know how the gums are? Of course, you can totally ask your groomer to do that.
Thank you for
We
mm.
saying that.
love pet parents like that. We
Yeah.
love that, please.
Like more interest and curiosity.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Totally agree. Um, when it comes to nails, um, I am terrified of cutting Luke's nails too short.
Mhm.
Is there a way that you can identify where the right spot is when pet parents are trying to cut their dog's nails at home?
It's tricky. I don't want to say there's a blanket answer to that, so no. If your dog seems to have short nails, I would say just you can also just use a nail file and just like keep filing down your dog's nails.
Mm,
But it's easy to potentially go too short. So you can just shave off the tips of the nails if
yeah.
you just want to do a little bit. But it just depends on the dog. Every dog is different. And also the way a dog walks will file their nails down differently. If your
Mm-hmm.
dog has back dew claws, sometimes the back dew claws can keep growing and grow into the pad, especially on like
Oh,
Great Pyrenees or on larger dogs. So keep an eye on those back dew claws and make sure that you're always cutting them. And if you
okay.
really want to do it at home, I have a nail trimming tutorial video called Quick Tips to Nailing It. And you
I
can
love
just get that. It's just like a cute little video if you want to learn how to trim your dog's nails. And then just make sure you have septic powder so that just in case you do it, you can just stop the bleeding. But just go to
that.
a groomer or a vet and they could do it for you.
Yeah, I mean, they'll get so much more care and so much more accurate care when they go in.
Nails are always included, by the way. For the most part, I don't know any groomer that doesn't do nails.
That makes sense.
So you mentioned, you can go too short. It seems like there are some probably at-home grooming mistakes that pet parents make. What's the most common mistake that
Ooh,
you're
this
seeing?
long
You
list
also mentioned
probably.
yeah.
Oh man. Oh God. I'm just thinking of all the cringe I've seen. Um,
The
I
last
say
20
that with
years.
so much love. I say with so much love. I mean, people just they have big hearts. I mean, just shaving their dog too short is very common. Making it very choppy. Those are really common things where it's like they just kind of hack at the coat with scissors. They don't realize like if you go against the grain of the coat the way it grows, you're just going to create a big chop. So they do that a lot. Or oh, here's a big common one, especially with Yorkie owners. I don't know what it is about Yorkie owners, but they love cutting their dog's hair.
Mm,
But if their hair is like growing into their eyes, they'll cut the bangs really short. But what happens is like the coat grows from the top of their nose up. So they're cutting this up here, but the dog still can't see because the hair is going from their. So they have to trim the eyes, not the bangs. It's cute though. It grows back. It all grows back, so it's okay.
And those are some sensitive areas around the eyes, and to have sharp scissors and try to do that home sounds nerve-wracking at the
Yeah,
very least.
yeah. I
I'll
don't
try this.
recommend it, but it's okay. It'll
It
grow
happens.
back.
What should dog parents look for when they're choosing a professional groomer? And also, how do you communicate the cut and the style that you want with your groomer so you can get the results?
That's a great question. So I'll answer the first part. Referrals, I think, are the best if you know someone who has a great groomer. If you
Yeah.
see a gorgeous dog walking down the street, stop them and say, "Where do you get your dog groomed?" Um, and then good reviews on Google. Research it. And then also like if you have an energy vibe, like some people you just like feel a vibe. Like you can tell they're sweet. With the dogs, like the dogs seem calm and happy. Look at their
Mm,
social media. Make sure the dogs look cozy and happy in their social media. They're not like, sad, trembling, scared, whatever. And then the second part is how to communicate the haircut. This is tricky because pet parents don't really know how. Some people will bring in a photo, but it's important to make sure that the photo you bring in is a picture of your dog that has been groomed. Like so often I'll get a picture of a puppy or like this is my dog when he was a puppy and he hasn't been groomed. So like that's an ungroomed dog and it's a
mm,
puppy. So it's the different coat type. Or if it's a haircut you didn't like, you can say, "Here's my dog how it got groomed last time. I don't like how this is too short, this is too long." So you can show them that.
mm.
Um And I think it's just like photo references are helpful. It's just like communicate details.
Yeah.
And also sometimes it takes a couple tries to get the haircut right with a groomer. So I think it's important to know, like, okay, so a groomer didn't do that exactly what you wanted. See if you can go back and give them feedback. Can you go a little bit shorter here and a little bit longer here? Like you can kind of guide them.
Do you ever give suggestions on a different cut based on what season it is or what area they're going to be in?
Yeah, totally. If it's a very active dog that swims all summer, I'm going to say take it short because you're
Mm,
going to just have a messy, matted dog.
yeah.
So I'm all for going short. Buzz it off for the summer for sure. I do want to mention the coat is sort of like insulation. So you don't want to shave a dog to cool them off in the summer. It's a big misconception. A lot of people think, oh no, my dog is hot. I got to shave him. No, it's actually a line of defense against the sun and against the
Wow.
elements. Yeah.
I did
So you
not know
don't want to
that.
take that. Yeah, especially double-coated dogs like yours. A lot of
Yeah.
people will shave their gorgeous double-coated dogs, and what you're doing is exposing them to the heat more. Dogs have little follicular muscles that move their coat, and that cools them off. The main thing you want to do is just brush out the undercoat. And that said, same with the winter. You don't have to keep the coat fluffy in the winter. The dogs are gonna be hot in the summer because it's summertime. It's hot. So you could take it short for maintenance and for it to look cute. And so it's just like easier to maintain. But
Mm.
you don't have to feel guilty about taking the coat off, thinking it's hot like a sweater.
Hmm.
Ah, that makes a lot of sense. And I would never shave him because he
No, I've seen it though.
is
I'm
so
like, why?
beautiful.
That said, like some groomers have to shave huskies or things like that are like, super, super matted,
Mm,
that just cannot be brushed out. That I've heard of that before.
But that's for a very specific case. I appreciate that you
Yeah,
shared that.
very
General audience,
extreme.
do not shave your dogs to try to
yeah,
keep them cool. That is not the way. That's not going to help them. That's a
that's
Yeah, it won't help
the
them,
misperception.
but it
takeaway.
will help if you're going swimming, like if your dog is really active. I'm not like against shaving a dog at all. You have to shave some dogs if they get super matted. It's okay. You don't have to feel guilty. Just, don't put them in direct sun for a long time if they have no coat. And then yeah, it's just like great for super active dogs, dogs that hike a lot. You want to see ticks, like that sort of thing. So it's not like I'm against it. I just think like you don't have to feel guilty about a long coat in the summer if, like a lot of people are like, I feel like a bad mom. There's just so much guilt when it comes to dogs and having dogs.
Yep.
Yeah, hopefully debunking some of these myths will help pet parents feel less guilty about certain things and more
Yeah.
guilty about furminators.
No, don't feel guilty about a Furminator.
Oh man.
I don't think it hurt your dog's coat.
I hope not. This is sort of like a weird question, but do you ever notice when dogs come out of their grooming that they act differently? That they're like, my aura, I look good. Like, do you tangibly feel that?
Yeah, I think it could go both ways. I don't really see the like the after attitude very much because they usually go home afterwards. But I have seen where people say their dog is strutting more because they feel good. I could tell you, my dog Mimu, my little teddy bear poodle who's somewhere, he loves when he's groomed. But
Mm.
Choopy, this is Choopy, she's right here. She's sleeping.
Oh, hi,
Oh.
Angel.
Choopy, cozy bear. She does not want to be groomed. She likes being choopy. I bathe
Yeah.
her probably it depends. Sometimes I do once a month, sometimes I do a little bit longer. It depends, but yeah, I've been stretching it longer and longer lately because she doesn't like to be groomed. She doesn't act weird. She acts very happy and she gets zoomies afterwards,
Yeah.
but I do think dogs feel better when they're groomed.
I've noticed pretty much 100% of the time, after a bath or shower, my late dog Bodhi and Luke, they will do the zoomies. Do you know what
Mm-hmm.
that means?
I think it's just excitement. They're just happy. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's over. Um, yeah, I think it's just joy.
I heard it
Yeah,
was stress
I
release
love it.
sometimes too.
Yeah,
Okay, gotta get that off, but I don't know if that's actually the case or not.
I think so. Something there, like an excited stress release. Yeah.
You mentioned Choopy doesn't like grooming. I'm trying to bring this home. How would you guide new dog parents? Bare minimum, if people want to, groom their dogs at home, what do you think? And then, or what do you wish that they know about hygiene if it's their first dog? What do they need? What are the bare essentials?
I would say understand that you need to keep your dog's teeth cleaned and maintained, because it can create big health problems. And then just understand that if you have a fluffy dog, to get a slicker brush, that they need to be brushed from nose to tail and all in between, everything between the legs, everywhere. Um, yeah, those are like the biggest ones. And then I would honestly just say find a groomer you love and just go once a month for, you don't have to do a full haircut every time. We have people that have fluffy dogs and we just do a bath and brush out and we just do a little shaping. They don't need to do full haircuts. So, yeah, I would say get on a good schedule, because a dog that understands grooming will just have a better time, especially if you start them young, than a dog that isn't used to it. We have one dog that's like a doodle type of dog. The owner waited a year to get the dog groomed, and like they should have started at like 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. Just start with baths. If you have a little puppy, just get your dog bathed and be the first appointment. Whatever your groomer's very first appointment is in the morning, that way they're the first in and the first out. If you have an anxious dog, be the first appointment. So I would say like just start early and start with baths, and don't think that groomers can't do a gorgeous bath and fluff. We could do that and a full haircut, but we don't have to only do haircuts.
So priming and conditioning them to get used to coming to the groomers in the future, just like they do with the vet, is going
Yeah.
to be super helpful.
Yes, and I wish I did this with my dogs, but they're so anxious. I have to get someone to stay here when I leave town. Like I get a pet sitter to come over.
Yep.
Luckily, I have like a bunch of employees and I'm just like, can someone house it? But I wish I took them not to boarding necessarily, but to at least like other friends' houses where I can leave them. So like
Yeah.
leave your dog with your friends, and like the more easygoing your dog is, the better. Just like take them everywhere, expose them to everything. That's more training. It's not really grooming, but like those are some new pet parent tips I would have.
We
That's
love
really
all the
great.
tips.
Yeah.
That's why we're here. Jess, thank you so much. Honestly, the
Thank
time
you.
absolutely flew by. Learned so much today. I will be approaching everything about dog grooming differently from here on. And
Yay.
thanks to you.
Cannot wait for your line to come out and for you to be able to talk about it. So we'll definitely have to have you back on, and we can't wait to see, how your whole product line is really going to help dogs and dog parents. So thank you, Jess, so much. Everyone who's listening and watching, you can follow Jess on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. Thanks for tuning in today, and stay tuned for the next episode of MythBarkers.
Thank you.
Yay!